Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the You're Not Done Yet podcast, where your purpose just is moments away, and I am here to help you get there. Y'all, I told y'all I was coming back. I just took a little break to get myself together, and on this episode, we have another amazing guest. Today, we will be speaking to Miss Iris Wright. So, Miss Iris, if you can introduce yourself, we will get right into the episode.
Hi guys, my name is Iris Wright. I am a serial entrepreneur. I own Karen Hart's Telecare um, and Karen Hart's Birthing Services, Wright Virtual Services. So I own quite a few things, and I have some books and anthologies coming out soon.
Awesome. So, my favorite question that I love to ask all my guests. So, who are they? Who is Iris Wright?
Iris is a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, a grandmother. Um, she's very passionate about everything she does, especially her senior community. She does a lot of advocating for them. She believes in bringing out results and making a difference. So that's who I am.
As you are, yes. I just know that we started following each other recently, and just one thing that I had admired, like you said, you are an advocate for the senior community. Would you love to share how you got in the realm of senior care and advocating for the senior community?
Yes, I worked in healthcare for 10 years as a CNA, med tech. Um, And I ended up in healthcare, leaving. I used to manage restaurants because
Okay.
my daughter was a teenager and she needed me to be home more. When I got into healthcare and I said, "Oh, I want to be a nurse," my mom's been in healthcare for a long time, and she was like, "Oh, the best nurses are CNAs."
Mm-hmm.
So I went to get my CNAs, and when I got into this field, it was I was not happy with.
Hmm.
Um, I was not happy at all. And
Yeah.
I started out in long-term care.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we would get 20 to 30 patients to take care of at a time.
Oh, wow.
And it's hard for one person to take care of so many patients like that at one time,
Right.
100%. So, and I'm more of the type of person, if I do a job, I want to be 110%. I can't halfway do a job. And that was what I was seeing a lot in hospitals and nursing homes. We
Yeah.
would not always have the time to do 100% of our jobs.
Oh,
And if something
wow.
were to happen, we get thrown on under the bus. We were the underdogs.
Oh, wow.
So it's Yeah, so um like my first year in, I didn't know um how I was going to do this, but I said I want to own a home care. I want to keep our seniors home with their families. I have
Mm-hmm.
seen so much,
Mm-hmm.
and 2021 that dream came true for me, to own my own home care. Um, so we
Awesome.
opened our home care in 2021, January. I ended up shutting it, believe it or not, in
Mm-hmm.
October 2021 to restructure
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
reopen this August, and
Okay.
changed up some things. What I've noticed when I first opened was, one, I started, follow the business plan. When you do the business plan and structure your business, don't go off of it. That
Okay.
was one thing I did. I ended up talking to a social worker, and she had a client that had brain cancer. That client had
Hmm.
Medicaid, and I'm familiar with working with people with brain cancer and TBIs. So
Yeah.
I took care of this client, and I started getting more and more Medicaid clients, which that wasn't my intentions at the beginning because I needed to build my business.
Correct.
But
Correct.
in the state of Virginia, when we opened, Medicare rates were $14.31. Then it went up to 17.22, and it just went up to 18.51.
Okay.
Well, you can only pay your staff pretty much minimum wage and you still won't make any money from it.
Right. Right.
That was one. And then through the pandemic, Medicaid sometimes took months to pay us.
Oh
So
wow.
not only are they not paying us enough, then they take their time paying us. So it's not very consistent.
Yeah.
So I had been an advocate and talking and trying to get more involved in that because a lot of our people do have Medicaid.
Yeah.
So I've been an advocate of teaching us people that we need to fix ourselves up to where we have long-term care insurance and educating
Right.
people on home health insurance because there is insurance for home health. We can't depend on the state to take care of us if we want to be taken care of well.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So that was my biggest hurdle when we opened our company, and then I had to get rid of all of those clients, and I felt so horrible because I had built
Yeah.
relationships with them, but I had
Right.
to make a business decision.
Yeah, and you have to do what was best for your business. And I feel like, and like you said, opening during the time of COVID, I can only imagine like what that struggle was. Because for one, it was unknown because you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know how long it was going to last. And it's like, I have to do what's best for the business and also what's best for the clients. So, even though we have talked about your home care business, why did you become a serial entrepreneur? What about it made you just want to dive right in?
Well, I've always been working hard, and through my journey people had already said you're supposed to be owning a business, you're supposed to be
Yeah.
making change. So I've always heard that. I just didn't know when that time was going to come for me.
Mm.
But I had to find some things in myself. I want to say a lot of times we have so much in us that we can bring out to share an experience with the world. But
Mm.
sometimes I talk a lot, like in our book, Words of Wisdom 2, that's coming out. My chapter is a woman's strength. I believe I had to
Mm.
find my strength to be able to go forward with my passions and my dreams. Because as a mother,
Yeah.
we are always worried and thinking about everyone else but ourselves and
Yeah.
trying to find ourselves, especially at a young
Yeah.
age. I was 15 when I became a mother.
Yeah.
Um, so once I found myself, I was able to really dive into my passion. And I read Steve Harvey's book Jump, believe it or
Mm.
not. And 2 weeks, I went into work and gave my 2 weeks notice in, and quit my job. And I've been working as an entrepreneur all this time through COVID.
Oh, wow.
So I really, if I felt like I was trying to start it while I was at work and working 12-hour shifts, taking care of a lot of patients at a time, you're
It's gonna
exhausted.
have the time. Mhm.
So if I know that if I needed to do this, I had to go ahead and make the jump.
Yes, and I think because that's okay. So like, 'cause that's how kind of how I feel. Like, this podcast or the podcast to me is more of like my comfort. It's like my way of releasing whatever stress that I'm going through during the week, interviewing you guys and listening to you guys' stories of purpose. And so, like you said, when you're working and you're trying to start something on top of you working, it's like, okay, hold on, wait a second, can I really handle this? But when did you know? Like when after you finished reading the book and after you took the jump, when did you know? Like I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. When did you know?
Oh, goodness. I think I knew like almost immediately. I had opened our first company, Wright's Virtual Services, and we do taxes and a signing agent. We've been doing a lot of work for the title companies. I had a
Okay.
call center in there and things. And when I started hiring people,
Yeah.
and especially when we opened, the pandemic came not that far afterwards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was able, some of my contractors lost their jobs.
Oh
I was able
wow.
to help them get work and to be able to work from
Good
home and
work.
make their own schedule.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing things for the title company and taxes, I made more money working for myself than I did the job.
Then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even
Oh
though when
wow.
you first get your business, a lot of your money is going back into building your business and your foundation. But also, Wrights gave me the passion that I needed to build my home care. So I built my home care from scratch. Wrote every policy, everything. I'd done everything from scratch. So it gave me that dream that I had years ago to own my home care. It gave me what I needed to be able to do that.
Yes, and that's the amazing thing though, because I think that I'm always a firm believer that if something is meant for you, everything will fall into place. And
Yeah.
even though it's not going to be easy by any means necessary, but once you have made up your mind that okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to rock it. I'm just going to have to take the punches that that go
Oh
with
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely not easy. It's a lot of learning that we do when we first
yeah.
open. We have to learn everything about our business, about what's going to help our business move, about a lot of planning, strategic planning. Um, so we do have to make a lot of very very important decisions. Um, so it's been awesome though,
Yeah,
even
no, I
even the
totally agree.
hardships.
I totally agree. I think it's more of, they see the success, but they don't see the hard work that's put
Being
in
put into.
behind it.
Oh
Like,
yes.
yes, it's all great and dandy now. Like, yes, I'm successful now, but it's like you haven't seen the nights that I've been crying, the nights that I've been on my knees praying, like, okay, God, like I need a sign. Like, where where is the sign? So, and it's because as I'm talking, to other entrepreneurs who started their business, around the same time that COVID-19 happened, they just say like just by the grace of God, because I didn't even know that I was still going to be here after COVID, because you see everybody struggling and it's like, well, God, am I about to get ready to to struggle too? Am
Yeah.
I about to get ready to struggle too?
Yeah, and it has been. I can tell you, even like when I had to close and restructure, I was like, oh my, I had so
Yeah,
many different feelings inside.
yeah,
But I had to use integrity. I had to use morals. I mean, another reason was I did not feel comfortable paying my employees minimum wage. I just didn't feel comfortable. And
yeah,
I wanted to have quality service. I didn't want to
right,
just give my seniors any type of service.
yeah,
And I'm an honest believer. You have to pay for quality. You're not
right.
helping no one if you're just putting a body in there.
Yeah,
Um,
and then they're barely doing what you're paying them to
you,
do and not showing up, and yeah,
Yes.
100%.
So that was a big decision that I had to make, and I'm glad I made it. And another decision was when my aides leave, a lot of our clients don't have no one to take care of them afterwards. So
Yeah,
that's why I came up with our virtual and hybrid home care,
that's
because I wanted
great.
to be able to provide 24/7 service.
And no, that's great because it's something that's needed. And I kind of feel like once you see the need and God's giving you that vision, like go for it. And everything else behind it is going to follow. So my question, another question for you that I have is that for those people who, believe that they are meant to be an entrepreneur and want to embark on an entrepreneur and even owning multiple businesses at that, why do you think that they are afraid to take the jump into becoming an entrepreneur, even a serial entrepreneur?
Well, one, I think that society and the way we were raised taught us that we had to work very hard. We
Yeah,
had to, wait and get that pension. You want that insurance from that job.
hmm,
That was guaranteed money.
right.
But COVID showed us that that money wasn't guaranteed.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so and we have not, and some of us are afraid to adjust to those new what we have now. We have so much
Yeah,
now where
yeah.
you can be short on cash and have a little job on the side and make the money to get what you need.
To get
Uh,
what you need, yeah.
to get what you need. So, and I think that's the scary part for a lot of people. I know I have a couple close people near me, and they're afraid. They need that
Yeah,
job. What are we going to do without the health insurance? What,
yeah,
if I fail? And I think that's a big thing.
yeah.
So, in order to succeed, sometime you may need to fail. We have to fail at something, and then you
Yeah,
get back up and you find out what
yeah.
you did wrong, and then you fix it.
Right.
don't be afraid of failing. A lot of the most successful people failed at the beginning.
Yes,
Will Smith
absolutely.
talks a lot about it in his book.
Yeah.
So, don't be afraid because you won't know. Sometimes we have to make mistakes and crawl before we walk so we can get to the end.
Yes.
So some people are
And
just afraid.
yeah, and then too, it's just like, and entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. Like,
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with working your 9 to 5, and like you said, collecting your pension at the end of your how many ever years you've been there. It's totally fine. But if you're going to embark on entrepreneurship and that's the lane that you want to go in, just be prepared for the ride. Like, it's not going to be easy. And I honestly feel like, too, I feel like your community or your village is what helps you in that transition as well. Like, you always having a partner in your ear saying, "Okay, you can do it." Like, it may not look like it right now, but you got this. You could do this later on. So, my next question is, and I love asking this question: do you feel like you are pursuing your purpose? If
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
how? If so,
Yes,
how?
ma'am. I know I share a lot on social media. Because my clients every day, even if I don't see them for a while, just in text messages that I get from them, that
Yeah.
makes me feel like I know I'm comfortable. I'm where the Lord wanted me to be,
Yeah.
and by changing their lives, coming up
Yeah.
with a plan for to help them live home and independent, keeping that independence. Um,
Yeah.
I a lot of this stuff that I put together, I dreamt it. So that's the crazy
Mm.
thing is, when you dream something and you don't think that your dreams can come true, but you find
That's
out
right.
in piece by piece. And the deeper I get involved in growing my company, the more I see my vision that was given to me. So I know
Yeah.
I'm in the right place, and I know
Yeah.
that we're going to be able to help so many people, because
Yeah.
my company by design now is I don't want them when they decline and get real sick. I want them before they get sick. I
Yeah.
want to be able to try to help them before that so I can keep them home and so I can save them a
Yeah.
lot of money,
A lot of
so they don't
money.
have to sell them houses and that land that they work so hard to get,
Yeah.
because that's what a lot of our people have to do. They go in a home, they have to sell their home and their land, their legacy that they work so hard for. So we want to keep them
Yeah.
home.
Yes. No, I love that. Cause it's something about, when you get, like you said, when you get that text message or that phone call, like, thank you so much for your help. Thank you so much for just being here. And it really does mean a lot. And I don't know if people aren't like really grasp that concept. Like, just by saying like, "Hey, you did great today," that may take me into next week. That may fill my heart until I hear it again from somebody else. So no, that is amazing. And I love asking that question because sometimes it really does make you think. Like, wow, am I really doing what God called me to do? And most of the
Yeah,
time you are, but have you ever really sat, sat down and
yeah,
thought about it? Like, and like you said, you dreamt this. This was a vision given to you. So that it's like
yeah,
it's coming to fruition. So that is
yeah. Yeah, just
amazing.
like today, one of my aides are sick. I went to take care of our client, and he said because of my company, he's able
Yeah.
to stay home and keep his independence.
And that is
96-year-old man.
amazing.
He got on the bike exercising today. He bathes himself. He
Yeah.
walks himself. He does everything. We give him
Yeah.
that companionship. We make sure he eat. We control his medications, making sure he's taking his medications, blood sugars. We transportation, make sure he's getting to his doctor's appointments. We do
Yeah.
all of that on the back end for him, but he's still doing these things himself, making sure that
Right.
it happens. So,
Right.
how that makes you feel and how that makes
Yeah.
him feel that he's still able
Yeah.
to do this. I'm still able to do
Yeah.
this
I'm still
and
able to do
do
it.
it. Yeah, and all because of a company like yours, your company. If it wasn't for your company, my kids would put me into a home. So the fact that he feel like, hey, now that I have you, I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about going into a home.
I
Um,
have somebody that comes in, whatever the schedule is. I'm still able to do me. And y'all do what y'all need to do, and I'll see you next time. But no, I can only imagine at 96. I bet
Yeah.
he's living the dream at 96.
Oh
I
yeah.
know he's
And when we got him, he was starting to decline. His blood sugars was out of control. We put him. We follow his meals, giving him his certain carbs that he need per every meal.
Mhm.
Getting his blood sugars back on track for him, putting him on the
Yeah.
schedule. So even when we're not there, he's still hearing from us all throughout the day. It's time for you to eat your dinner. Here's your evening snack before you go to bed.
Yeah.
His medications and everything. So it's pretty good to be able to help someone even when it's not there. Even when the aid leaves,
Yes.
we're still taking
Yes.
helping him take care of himself. So I don't want to say
Yes.
taking care of him, helping him take care of himself.
Yes. We're just
Is how I like to
assisting.
think about it.
We're just assisting.
Yeah, we're
We're here
assisting.
if you need to. Yes,
I
I
told
love that. I love that.
I
I
tell
love
him
that.
we're his pen pals.
That's it. That's it. We're
Because
here 24/7.
yeah, you know nobody wants a babysitter, right? So we want to be
Right.
able to do it ourselves.
Right, and especially when they, like you said, him being independent and him knowing what he can and can't do, and it's just like, okay, well, I got this part, just help me with the rest. And I've noticed that too, just with our older seniors, it's just that when they can still do everything, they don't want to ask you for nothing. Like they can get in their car and they can drive, they go, go to their appointments, they go
Hmm.
grocery shopping. But I have noticed though, just those little things that you do, like you said, hey, don't forget to take your meds. It's 7:30. Don't forget to go and get your snack out the refrigerator. So I know that that helps a lot. And just thank you so much for what you're doing for the senior community. It's very refreshing to hear that there are people out there like you that really are passionate about our seniors and making sure that they're still living well, and we're not just throwing them to the wayside because they're getting older now. No, so no, we really do appreciate that. So
Yes.
as we wrap up the interview, if you could leave our listeners with anything, what would you leave them
Don't be afraid. If God tells you to jump, jump.
with?
Be passionate and make sure you walk in integrity and use your morals for judgment.
Oh wow.
And be consistent. Be consistent.
Yes. Yes.
Follow up.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love that. When God tell you to jump, jump. Don't ask no questions, just go for it. So, Miss Iris, if our listeners, viewers want to get in contact with you, maybe they're in your area or they want to learn more about the home health care field, where can they get in contact with you? Where can they find you?
Yes. My our office number is 757-782-2129. Our website is chtelecare.com. We do service all 50 states virtually. So we would love to, if you have questions or think that the virtual home care would be a great fit for you, don't hesitate to call us.
Awesome. Yes. Well, Miss Iris, once again, thank you so much for hopping on and wanting to be a guest on the podcast. I enjoyed having you. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. And I
Yes.
pray that our listeners will get something out of this. It is okay to jump when God says jump. And He may tell you to jump more than once, but as long as you are willing to jump. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram and Facebook at You're Not Done Yet Podcast, and me, your host, at It's Andrea B on Instagram. Until next time, this has been an amazing episode of the You're Not Done Yet Podcast, where your purpose is just moments away, and I'm here to help you get there. See you guys next time.
See ya. Thank you.
You're welcome.